Welcome to the Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurship, where we keep it real about what it takes to build, grow, and thrive. Here, you'll hear the unfiltered journeys of women entrepreneurs from everywhere. The wins, the setbacks, the lessons, and the behind the scene truths of aligning, starting, and scaling our businesses with purpose. Because let's be real, this road ain't always pretty. From battling self doubt to juggling responsibilities and facing the pressures to have it all figured out, this hustle can be pretty heavy. That's why this space exists to fuel you with the motivation, drop strategic gems on the topics that matter most, and remind you you are not in this alone. This is the Woman's Hustle. Welcome back to the Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurship. It's your girl, Coach K Transforms. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. We are back with season 2, baby. I'm super excited to be here. We are stepping it up a notch here at the Woman's Hustle. So if you have not already, make sure you have subscribed to the Upgraded Mindsets channel on YouTube. Make sure you are favoriting the Woman's Hustle, Thrills and Spills of Entrepreneurship on your favorite streaming platform. I'm so honored and just blessed to be here. Season 1 was amazing. I just want to talk about shout out to all of the guests that blessed the Woman's Hustle season 1. Shout out to all the strategies they dropped, the gems, the tools. Hey, it was a power pack season. If you have not listened to season 1, you need to go on back over there and check that out. All right. Season 2 is definitely stepping it up a notch. I listened to the community. I listened to my listeners. I listened to the guests. I listen to what women want and need when it comes to the journey of exploring entrepreneurship, scaling up in entrepreneurship, and becoming a full-time entrepreneur. So this season is going to be so dope, y'all. This episode is really something that I wanted to talk about because I have clients that are currently going through this right now. And I also hear when I'm in the community at networking events and stuff like that, that there are a lot of us who want to break away from the 9 to 5s, right? So, because this is the Woman's Hustle Thrills and Spills, we're going to talk about the fact of there are a lot of us who want to break away from the 9 to 5s, but we have to balance that while we're trying to break away from that when it comes to starting our businesses. So it is possible, you guys. That's probably one of the number one questions that I hear is, oh, I want to leave my job. Is that something that's possible? It is absolutely possible. Now, my experience going into full-time entrepreneurship was a little different, but I was in corporate America and I was working a 9 to 5, but I was actually let go from my job while I was in the beginning stages of upgrading mindset. So I started upgrading mindsets in June of 2020, and I actually was let go from my corporate job in November of 2020. So I had to kind of make that decision if I was going to go ahead and go into entrepreneurship full time or if I was going to, go find another job. Well, y'all all know, if y'all know by now what I chose full time entrepreneurship. I will say it is not easy. And that's kind of why I felt like this was a great kickstart episode for season 2, because there are a lot of us who are ready to break free from those corporate America chains. So let's get into it a little bit. All right. Before I kick that off, I want to talk about really just being the person that you want to become. And I have kicked off a guide called Becoming Her, which is healed, empowered, and ready. And I really encourage somebody who is trying to make transformation in their life to really grab this book. This is what I call a WERK book, because this is really going to help you go past the surface. All right. So if you're somebody who is trying to begin the entrepreneur journey, but you're still kind of stuck on a personal level as well, go visit the website and it'll be pinned in the podcast show notes. Go grab Becoming Her, which is healed, empowered, and ready. All right. So let's get into it, y'all. There is a great reality of you being able to go into full-time entrepreneurship. But a lot of times what I hear is, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. I'm working. You got to ask yourself the question. If this is something you want to do, then you've got to make the time, right? You got to figure out and balance that. There's a big word called balance. But listen, what I want to tell y'all to kick everything off with that is time management is not about being perfect in it. It's about being intentional with it. So you've got to position yourself to say, yes, I work this 9 to 5, but I have this business that I'm trying to build, that I'm trying to start. So what does that look like? Now, y'all know what I talk about. The mind is where everything begins. You've got to reframe how you see your time. Because the quickest and the first thing we say is, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. You do. There are 1,440 minutes in a day. You have, whether you work an 8-hour shift, you're a mother, you're a wife. Do you want this business or not? So you got to make the time. So stop saying you don't have the time. Let's shift that mind and say, how can I use the time that I do have? Because I get it. You may be busy. You may not be able to tackle something every single day, but you still have to find some time because this is something that you're wanting to start. You're wanting to start a business. You're wanting to kickstart a brand. You've got to find the time. What else you going to do? You just going to sit back and just hope and wish that you're going to get the time? Or are you going to be intentional in finding that time? Listen, you've got to also focus on your time when you're most energized. I know for me, my energy is probably the most effective and active in the morning times between 6 a.m. and noon. I know that I get the most work done. Now, if you're at a 9 to 5, you can't do that. So, what you have to do is figure out when you feel the most energy. Does that mean you got to get up an hour earlier before you would normally get up to get ready for work to do some type of administrative task for your business? Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Does that mean that when you get off work, you maybe need to take an hour or 30 minutes or something to focus on an administrative task towards starting your business? Yes, it does. Micro momentum matters probably more than regular momentum because you are trying to figure things out. You're trying to balance. So taking those small, consistent actions will help you get the big results that you eventually want, especially if you're trying to put an exit strategy in place. So you've got to make the time. You have to be intentional. Another thing when it comes to your mindset, you're trying to become a CEO, not an employee. So because you're trying to become a CEO, you've got to shift your mindset to a CEO brain. So yes, you are over here clocking in and clocking out, but when you're working on that business, your mind is completely different. Should you take some of the tools and stuff that you might use from your job? Yes, but shifting your mindset requires that. You may have to be up a little later as you're planning your exit strategy. You've got to do the work, people. Ladies, I know that we are quick to say that we don't have it, but you've got to shift your mind to make the time. Hey, I know that there are people that would use PTO, take time off to work on their business. If you got PTO that's just sitting, stuff like, take them days, work on your business because you're getting paid to work on your business. You're getting paid from your corporate job, but then you're also working towards your business. So, hey, you might have PTO. As I record this, it's getting towards the end of the year. So you may have some PTO that you got to blow. Hey, take them days off, baby. Don't roll them over. Don't let them pay you out for them. Take them days, especially if you're working towards building a business. Take those days, you guys. It's super important. Steps that you can implement to help you with these things, right? Because I got to make sure that I give you guys some resources and some tools. But I also want you to know that these are the things that I help with upgraded mindsets, because I want to get you in the mindset of a business owner, not just only having a business, but being in the mindset of a business owner, because that is what you've got to do. You've got to get your mind into the business owner's state of mind. Woo, y'all, I feel like I'm just rolling and rambling, but this what happens when I talk by myself on the podcast, y'all. So, there are things that you need to do. Find pockets of time, right? Say you've got kids that may be active in sports. What are you doing when they're at practice? What are you doing when they may be at an away game that you're not at? What are you doing? You've got to find those pockets of time. You've got to make sure that you're doing take your lunch break, people. Take your Facebook scrolling time or your social media scrolling time because we be so quick to say we don't have time. But I bet if you look at your screen time on your phone, you'll be like, ooh, I bet I never say I don't got time. It's just really important that you do that because these are all things that are going to help you with your time management as you work on building your business while still having that 9 to 5. All right. You've got to set some non negotiables, people. You've got to set some non negotiables that's going to help you dedicate yourself like you are really building your brand. Treat it like it's a meeting. Block the time out. I'm good. If it ain't on my calendar, it don't exist. I am so intentional in putting things on my calendar as a full-time entrepreneur, but this is also what I teach my clients. You've got to put it on the calendar. Block the time. Another thing that you want to do as you are trying to balance these things is you want to like batch your time, right? So, for example, for me, I have times of the day where I do like social media content. I have times of the day where I edit podcasts. I have times of the day where I have it blocked off exclusively for clients or guest inquiries, walk-in times here at UPM. So I have those times batched by the week and sometimes by the month. It just can really depend on what the schedule looks like. So you've got to get familiar with batching like similar tasks. So if you like want to send like emails out or things like that, and then you want to promote on social media, those would be things that you could kind of batch together, right? Like administrative stuff, you want to batch that stuff together. So, as you're just starting, there are some administrative things that you have to do because it's more than just getting the LLC and the EIN. I have an entrepreneurial purpose map that I go over with potential clients or new clients because you've got to figure out your why. I operate with the 4 P's: the passion, the purpose, the perseverance, and the performance. So when you're starting a business, you've got to know what you're passionate about with that business. If you're just trying to do maybe a side hustle to make a couple extra dollars, it still has to make sense. You still have to have a why behind that beyond the financial reasoning. Okay. So you've also got to leverage your technology. As I said, if it ain't on my calendar, baby, it don't exist. You hear me? It don't exist. Project management. I am huge on that. And I didn't used to be. I had to get there. Ways to keep yourself accountable is what you're looking at. Because depending on what type of business you have, if you're just wanting to sell a product, or if you're selling a service, or if you're trying to do both, your project management got to be on point because what you don't want to do is 2, 3 years down the line, you're still on the, oh, I want to do this. No, we're not doing that, y'all. We're not doing that. Another thing that I really want to implement and tell y'all to do is when you are trying to build something for yourself, you got to say no with confidence because we will be guilt tripped into committing our time to other people, but then a month's gone by and we haven't done anything towards building our business. We go to work, we take care of home, we do this, but then we're committing to things outside of what our vision is to start the business. All right. So you may have to tell somebody no, y'all. You got to build that confidence up to say it and mean it and stand on it. I know I've said a lot and I've really dove into some things pretty quickly, but also the importance of taking time to rest. Because if you're overthinking things, if you're trying to do too much too fast, it will overwhelm you and you will get burnt out. Okay. I just want to say this: stop waiting for the perfect time. We say that so much. If y'all knew the amount of women that I have talked to that are like, oh, I'm just waiting for this and I'm just waiting for that. It does not exist. What don't exist, Keisha? The perfect timing. You got to start with the time that you do have now. We know the 9 to 5 pays the bills, but your passion and your purpose with this business is building your future. So just make sure that you honor both. Okay. Consistency is going to beat intensity every day, all day. If you're putting small things into action, that is what consistency is all about. A focused 30 minutes is more powerful than a once a month, hurry up and let me get that grind on, right? 30 minutes a day could have your business up and running in less than 6 months, depending on what it is that you're doing, how you're doing it. I also want to encourage you to seek support, because as someone who is working full time, you don't know everything. And what I will also tell you is you will have to make investments from your job into this business that you want to create. So don't go into this like, oh, I can't take any money from my job. That's what you're supposed to do. Fund your business with your corporate job. Yes. Yes, people, do that. Do that. I'm going to end it with this. If you don't schedule your time, someone else going to schedule it for you. You're going to commit to other things that have nothing to do with what it is that you're trying to do. All right. So listen, as I get ready to head out of here, I just want to tell you guys, time management is about mindful shifts and intentional action. If you know that you are wanting to leave your 9 to 5 eventually, then you better believe you better have plans in place all day, every day to make that happen. Whether it's 30 minutes Tuesday, 20 minutes Thursday, an hour Saturday, find those pockets of time, people. I challenge you to pick one action this week and commit to it. Because at the end of the day, this is your legacy that you want to create. What type of business are you building? Is it for that it's going to generate generational wealth for the future? Is it something that you just want to do because it is a huge passion project for yourself? Figure that out. But figure it out while still at your 9 to 5. There's no perfect time. I'm going to get out of here, y'all. But I want to know what you thought of this episode. I really have been listening to like the questions that you guys have for me. And I take all of that feedback and I regurgitate it with episodes of The Woman's Hustle and Empowering Real Talk. So Empowering Real Talk is also on a new season. So make sure that you go check out those episodes as well. They're both on the Upgraded Mindsets channel on YouTube. So just make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss these powerful conversations. I have a lot of guests lined up this season, and I'm super excited for you to meet them, super excited for you to get your insight from them. But I definitely want to know what you thought of this episode. And if you are somebody who is struggling, trying to figure out what life's purpose looks like for you personally, professionally, or even as an entrepreneur, the first conversation is always on me. Go to www.upgradedmindsets.life, click the chat link, schedule your complimentary consultation with your girl, and let's talk about it. All right. I'm going to get out of here, y'all. I appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Till next time, baby.